right? Absolutely. I'm so proud of him and everything he's doing. And so, learn a lot of things. Learn about business, learn about cash flow, learn people skills. It's like a personal development course with a compensation plan attached to it. And then I branched off and did some traditional businesses. I had a restaurant franchise. My whole family's in real estate. And when I was with that project that he and I worked on, I was introduced to the concept of credit, right? I wasn't really taught that in school. And we're taught a lot of different things in school, right? Have you guys seen some things that you learned in school that you haven't applied since you graduated?
A lot.
Right? Like the Pythagorean theorem, how do you pronounce it, right? Pythagorean, right?
Okay.
All right? So I got my son and one of my players. I coach high school basketball too, and I coach travel. So I got one of my players, Mr. Corey Chapman. He goes to Manual, where I went, right? And they said it's the greatest school, whatever, right? Have they taught y'all the Pythagorean theorem yet? They haven't taught you yet? Okay. All right. I need you to pay attention to class there, right? Because I know they teach you at Manual, right? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. But let me ask you a question, right? All right. How many of y'all, after graduating, have used the Pythagorean theorem? Raise your hand. Show your hand. Any engineers in here? All right. We got one person out of how many? All right. Now, what do?
I'm an industrial engineer.
You're an industrial engineer. I need you to know the Pythagorean theorem, right? All right. Just like a nurse. I can't have a dumb nurse, right? Right? Giving you IVs and you're stuck, right? Like, no, I need you to know it. But we haven't used that, right? So we're talking a lot of different things. Now, Corey, I need you to still pay attention to class. Just listen to your teacher. Just get through it, get it done. But I'm going to share some things that we're going to be able to use. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So he mentioned, helping with credit, and I had some challenges. At one point, I saw myself with a credit score so low, you couldn't even heat food with it if it was an oven temperature, right? Mid 400s, right? Went through a process that I'm going to share with you that took me to just shy of 800 to an excellent credit rating, right? Okay. But even more important than that, you got to understand, credit is just a system. It's a man-made system, right? There will be other systems, okay? Right? But the systems and strategies, those are permanent. But philosophies, right? Philosophies and concepts. Systems and strategies are temporary, but philosophies and concepts are permanent, right? I want everyone to write that down. I know we have phones, right? That's fine. I take notes on my phone as well. But some of these things I want y'all to write down with a pen, right? Mm-hmm. Philosophies and concepts are permanent, but systems and strategies can at times only be temporary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? Like, writing a book on marketing today would probably not be a good idea. Why? Because in 6 months, those marketing techniques, right, can be totally different. Raise your hand if you knew what ChatGPT was a year ago. Right? So whoever wrote books on marketing a year ago, right, and they didn't have ChatGPT in it, guess what? Those strategies, those temporary strategies are now outdated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, but I'm going to give you some philosophies. I'm going to give you some concepts that I want to share with you. Okay, does that make sense? We'll handle questions here at the end. All right. Here's the reason I want everyone to write this down. Okay, understand that everything you see physically around you everything you see that is tangible. Tangible means you can touch it. Right? Everything that you see that's tangible. Everybody touch your wrist real quick. Touch your wrist. All right, pinch yourself. Right? Right, you feel it? Everything you see, tap on the chair in front of you, okay? Everything you see, that chair, your wrist, right? That table, that pen you have, it was intangible at one point, right? It was a thought in somebody's head, somebody's mind, right? And then it became, touch that chair again, touch that chair, right? Touch your wrist, right? Then it became tangible, it became reality. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? Everything was intangible and now it's tangible. Does that make sense? Yep. So the reason I want you to write down what I'm telling you, because I'm giving you some thoughts, right? With your fingertips, can you feel those thoughts?
No.
Right? You actually can, but you're not, it doesn't connect with your conscious mind, right? Right? You can't really tell it. But when you take that thought that I'm giving you, and you take your tangible pen, and you take that tangible ink, and put it on that tangible paper, you make that thought that I gave you, whether it be a good thought, all right, or a negative thought, you're making that thought reality. Does that make sense? Right? It's real on that paper, right? And then with a plan executed behind that thought, it becomes a full manifestation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So everything you see can go from intangible to tangible, right? All right, and you can, like, again, it's still real in your phone, but it's just more real, does something to you, to your senses, to your subconscious mind when you put it on paper. I'm gonna give you something. The first thing I want you to jot down, philosophy. Write down the word philosophy. Okay. Next word, write belief and feeling. Belief and feeling. Okay. Belief and feeling. Next thing I want you to jot down, action. Action. Okay. Action. Right. Next thing I want you to jot down, results. Results. All right. Last thing I want you to jot down is lifestyle. Lifestyle. So philosophy, beliefs and feeling, action, results, lifestyle. Okay? All right? All right? So what does it, Jeff, what does this have to do with credit? All right? I'm going to get there. Give me a second. All right? All right, philosophies. What are philosophies?
Philosophy is a strong idea that has belief behind it.
Okay, you said an idea. Okay, what else? Anybody else? Philosophy? Okay, right? Here's what philosophies are. What you think. Okay? What you think. Okay? What are beliefs?
What you hold as
What are attitudes? Beliefs and attitudes. What are beliefs and attitudes?
Things you do.
No, not yet, not quite. Yeah, you do, but not quite. How you feel about what you think. Okay? How you feel about what you think. Okay? What are actions? What you do. What are results?
what you've done.
What you done, what you get. Right? You get results, right? Lifestyle. What's lifestyle?
How you live.
How you live. Right? What you think determines how you feel, which determines what you do, determines what you get, determines how you live. Right? The way you think repeatedly, right? It starts to create a feeling. Right? Does that make sense?
Wow.
Those feelings lead you to actions, good or bad. Right? Repeated actions get you certain results. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Certain those results over time give you a lifestyle. And I had a mentor that told me life is something we all have. Style is just the way we choose to live. How do you choose that? By the way you think. It starts with how you think. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It says, as a man thinketh.
So it is.
Right? Now y'all see why I'm having y'all write down your thoughts?
Yeah.
Because everything starts with your thoughts. So I want you to be locked in on controlling your thoughts. Right? Not just about credit, about everything. Right? Your health, everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right? I need everybody on your paper. I want you to draw something, okay? All right? I want you to draw a big circle. Everybody. I want my son. I got my son here, Jeffrey. I want you to draw it. Corey, I want you to draw it. Draw a circle. I want everybody to draw this circle, okay? And divide it into 6 pie slices, pizza slices. You know, if you're hungry, whatever you want to eat. 6 slices, okay? All right? Yeah, we're using geometry. Just not A squared plus B squared equals C squared, because we're not engineers. All right? All right. So we're going to hire him. All right? He's going to have a firm. He's going to have his dad come out. All right. So in that first slice, I want you to write spirit. Write spirit. All right? Right? Make sure everyone writes spirit, okay? In the second slice, I want you to write health. Health, okay? In the next slice, I want you to write home. Home, okay? In the next slice, I want you to write finance. Okay? Finance. In the next slice, I want you to write mental. Mental. Okay? In the next slice, the last slice, write social and cultural. Social and cultural. Okay? All right, social and cultural. So, spirit, health, home, finance, mental, and then social and cultural. Okay? Social and cultural. Okay? That is your life. That is your life. If you say, I love my life, okay, you love that right there. You say, I don't like my life, that's what it is right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right? All right, but that is your life. Those are the 6 areas of your life. Spirit. You are a spirit. You live inside of a body, right? You have a soul. You live inside of a body, right? Right? Your spirit. That's your spirit life, right? You have a relationship with the Creator. You read your Word, right? Right? You pray. You go. You go and worship, right? That's your spirit life. And the men were the priests of the house. Women, we all have our function. We have a spirit life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Second. You have your health, right? You have your physical health. You also have your mental and emotional health. Okay, all right. So you got, you go, you want to be in shape. You want to run. My son wants to run. He said, "What was your goal you wrote down for your 40-yard dash?" 4.5. 4.5 at the end of the summer. That's his goal, right? So that's your health, right? He said, "I want to weigh this amount, or I want to be plant-based." That's health, all right? And you got your mental and emotional health, right? Because you want to prosper as your soul prospers, right? So your soul, you want to make sure you're healing yourself from childhood traumas, past traumas, right? Make sure you're aware of yourself, right? That's your health as well. Even though you can't see it with your eyeballs, it still affects you, right? Trauma is stored in the body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, next, you got home. That's your family and your actual physical home. All right, so your family, all right? What's going on with your family, right? And then you got your actual house where you live. Next, you got finance. That's your career, right? That's your job. That's your business. That's your income. That's your assets. All that, okay? Mental, right? That's your schooling, your education, your formal education, right? But also, it's your self-education, right? We're right here. This is self-education, all right? Corey, write this down. Formal education will make you a living. Write that down, everybody. Formal education will make you a living. All right? Formal education. Right, let me see you right. Formal education will make you a living. I'm still coaching. Coaching will never stop. All right, formal education will make you a living. All right? Self-education will build your fortune and help you design your lifestyle. Self-education will build your fortune and help you design your lifestyle. Okay? So formal education will make you a living. But self-education will build your fortune and help you design your lifestyle. Everyone give yourselves a round of applause for being here and self-educating. All right? Absolutely. All right? So that's mental, right? Reading books, audio books, going to conferences where you learn from people that are positive, going in the right direction, right? Reading 10 pages of a good book. Also, social, cultural. That's just what you do for fun. All right? Having fun, traveling, shopping. All right? But also, cultural and socially is what you do in the community, right? How are you giving back? What causes are you involved with? Does that make sense? That's your life, okay? Now, draw another circle. Draw a whole other circle. Divide this into 3 slices, okay? Some of us may say, well, my life is okay. My life is great. My life, I want it to be better, whatever, right? How do we change that, okay? This is called the $25,000 formula. $25,000 formula. All right? All right. Draw it in. You got 3 slices, right? Okay. Write the number 8 in all 3 of those slices. Write the number 8 in all 3 of those slices. Okay? Write the number 8 in all 3 of those slices. Okay?
What you say it was called again?
$25,000 formula. So a company had to figure out how to get more production out of their employees. So they hired a guy, paid him $25,000, and came up with this formula I'm about to give you right now. And their production went through the roof. So it's called the $25,000 formula. Okay? Everybody got an 8 in all 3 of those slices?
Yeah.
Okay? First slice, I want you to write the word sleep. Sleep. Okay? Second slice, I want you to write the word work. Work. Okay? Third slice, I want you to write the word lifestyle and fortune. lifestyle and fortune. Okay, lifestyle and fortune. Okay, so you got sleep, you got work, you got lifestyle and fortune. What is that? That is your day. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Deion Sanders, right? Donald Trump, all right? Oprah Winfrey, your Sunday school teacher, right? Your neighbor. We all have the same 24 hours, right? Everyone sleeps 8 hours a day, give or take a couple hours. Does that make sense? We have to sleep, right? That part of your day is gone. A third of your life is gone sleeping. So that's out the door already. So when you're talking about enhancing your lifestyle, third of your life is gone. Second 8 hours. Everyone works 8 hours a day, give or take a couple hours. If you're in school, that's your work right now, right? So on average, the average person works a 9 to 5, unless they're retired or unless they're financially free. But work 8 hours, right? So what does that mean? That's 16 hours gone. You have 8 hours to build your fortune to help amplify your lifestyle to the level that you're looking for. Does that make sense? All right. So you wake up, you work 9 to 5. You sleep 8 hours. You got from 5. They say you work 9 to 5, right, to make your living. You work 5 to 9 to build your fortune. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When I say work 5 to 9, what do you mean? I just work my job. No, that's when you start your businesses. That's when you start acquiring assets. All right, that's where you invest in yourself. That's when you come to conferences like these, all right, to learn. That's where you go get extra training. That's where you go get mentors to guide you. Does that make sense? All right, so that 8 hours where you build your fortune, design, and help amplify your lifestyle, that's the third set of 8 hours. So go back to that first circle I gave you with the 6 slices. Y'all see that? Right? Those 6 slices, you have to fit that, for the most part, in that third set of 8 hours, right? Until you make enough income that if you don't like what you do for your job and you want to get out of it, if you love what you do, keep doing what you're doing. If it's your calling, great. If it's not what you really want to do, you're just doing it for a paycheck, you're going to have to fit that original circle in that third set of 8 hours to build yourself to the lifestyle that you want. Does that make sense? What do you mean by that, Jeff? Spirit, right? You're going to have a spiritual goal, all right? Jeffrey, I ask you almost every day. I say, what is your? No, yeah, your plan. But I say, what is your goal for your spirit life? And what do you always tell me? Speak up. Get closer with God. All right. How do we do that? Read the Bible. All right. All right. Well, what is your goal spiritually? All right. Maybe it's to find a church home. Maybe it's to finish reading through the Bible this year. Right. Maybe it's to go through a church conference. Whatever your goal is. What is your goal spiritually? Right. Then you're going to have activities that help you reach that goal. Then you schedule those activities in that third set of 8 hours. Does that make sense? Because you got to sleep and you got to go to work, so it's got to get done in the third set of 8 hours. Does that make sense? All right. Health, right? All right, Jeffrey, what do I say? We already talked about your 4.5 40-yard dash, right? All right, so to do that, like we're at the gym or running, right? So if you have a goal, right, in that health, you have activities to help you reach that goal. You have to schedule that in the third set of 8 hours. Right? Same thing with your family in your home. Maybe it's to have date night with your spouse once a week, right? Maybe it's to do certain things with your children or your loved ones, right? And then you'll have an activity that'll help you accomplish that, and then you schedule that in the third set of 8 hours, right? Your finance, right? Maybe it's to start a business. Maybe it's to do bigger things at your job, and you need more certifications. Well, you can get the activity mapped out once you have the goal, and you schedule that in the third set of 8 hours. Does that make sense? All right, so Jeff, what does this have to do with credit? I'm gonna get there, give me a second, I got you. All right, same thing with your mental, your educational, right? You scheduled this conference, you came, this is your third set of 8 hours. Right, you may have taken off work, right? You may have adjusted it, right? Same thing with your social and cultural, right? Maybe it's, you wanna you wanna travel more. Say you're like, hey, I wanna go out of the country once or twice a year, right? And then you have a plan, and then you schedule that in the third set of 8 hours. Right, so if you're doing daily disciplines, daily activities to accomplish your goals, and you're getting goals accomplished in every area of your life, what's happening to your lifestyle? It's changing, right? Because life is something we all have. Style is just the way we choose to live it, right? So now you're consciously choosing that. But here's the thing. You can't just consciously choose it. You have to get pictures of those goals, put them up everywhere, right? All right, because you have to program your subconscious. Your subconscious takes in whatever you put in, right? So if you want to have an 800 credit score, I want to see 800 credit scores on your dashboard, in your bathroom your mirror, on your wall, right? All right? Or you want to get a house, I want the house. Put it on your phone, or on your lock screen, right? Start programming yourself. Also, affirmations, right? I want affirmations with feelings, right? Right, to program your subconscious to take you to. See, the why is the most important thing. The how, you're like, hey, what about credit? How do I fix my credit? The how is not as important as the why, right? You program yourself with the why, the hows, you'll be guided to. God will guide you to the why, the how. Does that make sense? All right, but you're going to have affirmations, all right? All right, everyone repeat after me. I'm so happy and grateful now.
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 I have a 750 plus credit score.
I have a 750 plus credit score.
I'm doing all that God has called me to do.
I'm doing all that God's called me to do.
I'm fulfilling my purpose.
I'm fulfilling my purpose.
All right, so that phrase right there, I'm so happy and grateful now. You embed that into your brain, into your subconscious. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can do the actions, but you want your subconscious honed in on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get you some money, okay? All right, everyone draw a box. Everyone draw a box real quick. Draw a box, okay? Divide it into two rectangles, okay? Two rectangles. I want you to write the word A in one. I want you to write the word L in the next one. I want you to write the word A in one, and I want you to write the word L in the next one. Okay? All right? The A stands for assets. The L stands for liabilities. Okay? A stands for assets, L stands for liabilities. What is the definition of an asset?
Something that provides benefits.
Something that provides benefit? Absolutely.
Value.
Anybody else? Value? Yep. All right. Let me give you something real simple. Write this down. Something that puts money in your pocket. In a broader sense, it's beyond money, absolutely, but something that puts money in your pocket. L is a liability. What's a liability? Something that takes money out of your pocket. All right. An asset could be your own business. It could be real estate. Right? It could be a life insurance policy, depending on how you have it set up. It could be a lot of different things. Commodities, right? Assets. Liabilities, it may be a vacation, right? Maybe the television subscription. All those, nothing wrong with it. It's just taking money out of your pocket. This event is an asset. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Relationship with Joseph Joshua is an asset. Right? With Jaden, asset. Alicia Burns, asset. Right? The folks here in the room, those relationships, assets. They provide value. The wealthy focus on collecting assets first and use the income from those assets to then buy liabilities. The poor and middle class focus on acquiring liabilities first, and they don't really have anything left over. But if they kind of do, maybe they'll get an asset or think about it, but for the most part, they don't. Does that make sense?
Yep.
The definition of financial freedom is having enough cash flow from your assets to cover your monthly expenses. Everyone write down financial freedom. All right? So if your expenses are $3,000 a month, rent, gas, food, clothes, all that, and you have a rental property, all right, we have some real estate investors here today. You have a rental property and you're making $3,000 a month from all your units from your rental property. You're now technically free where you don't have to actively work anymore. Okay? Now you'll still work because you choose to, but you're at a point now where you do it because you want to, not because you have to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, that's financial freedom. Draw another box. Another box. Told you. I'm gonna put these thoughts on paper, all right? We're going to make these things reality. Divide it into 4 squares. Okay? Divide it into 4 squares. Okay? All right, I want you to write the word. Write the letter E, then the letter S, then the letter B.
B as in Victor.
B as in boy. B as in business. Then the letter I. ESBI. Okay? Here's what the E stands for. I got it. I see it. I appreciate it. E stands for employee. Write the word employee. Employee. S stands for small business owner.
Small business.
B is big business owner.
Come on. Mercy.
I is investor.
Oh.
Employee, small business owner, big business owner, investor. So employees trade their time for money.
Right.
You stop working, you stop getting,
Hey.
right? Who wants to keep getting paid? All right, nothing wrong with it. But also, you're also heavily, we have some folks that are professionals. Those are the highest, start with a T, tax group, right? Out of all these, right? Then you have small business owners, doctors, lawyers, barbers, right? They make better money for the most part. But a lot of times, again, if they stop working, they stop getting, right? My barber, yesterday, he was complaining about his feet. You know, he said, man, I'm standing on my feet. And man, my shoulder, I'm up here raising my arm all day. He's having to pop his shoulder in and out. If he doesn't pop his shoulder and cut hair, right, he doesn't get it. Right? That's a small business owner. He makes some good money. He's a good barber. He's awesome. Right? But those E and S, employees, small business owners, they trade their time for dollars. Okay? Trade their time for dollars. Right? Now, small business owners do get more tax breaks. Right? So if you're going to be either one of those, if you want to avoid a lot of the unnecessary tax expenses, you might want to set up a business. Okay? Then you have B and I, big business owners. Those are folks like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. Right? Wealthy people build networks. They leverage themselves. So even if they're not working, guess what? They're still getting paid. Right? Junior Bridgman had all those restaurants, has a bottling company. Right? He's not there, right? But he's still getting paid, right? Wouldn't you like to get paid whether you're there or not?
Yeah.
Right? That's a big business owner. Then you have investors. Those are people that take their money and invest it into assets to help them make more. Right? So their money makes money for them. Right? So they also have time. Does that make sense? So big business owners and investors are able to earn income for time they're not necessarily putting in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, now it's a process. You're going to put some work in, but you have to identify which of those 4 people that you would like to be. Would you like to be an employee? Would you like to be a small business owner? Would you like to be a big business owner? Would you like to be an investor? There's nothing wrong with any of them. It's just where your values lie. Does that make sense? All right? So identify, okay, what type of person am I? All right? Okay? All right. Here's what I believe. Okay? Now, I try not to tell people to force your beliefs on anybody. All right? But I'm about to force some beliefs on y'all right now, all right? All right, because I'm going to talk to us, because it's just us in the room right now, so I'm going to talk to us, all right? Okay. I believe, first of all, we should have a few things, right, that we have it as a whole for the most part, and it's kept us behind. And I'm a basketball coach. I want to see us get buckets and win. Does that make sense? All right? So first thing, write this down. I want us to have knowledge. I think we have to have knowledge. That's number 1. Okay? The second thing, we need real estate.
Yeah.
Land and property. You say, well, a house is a liability if you get your homeowner. Yeah, possible, but it's better. It's kind of like a savings account. So if you don't have a savings account, you might as well get a savings account to give you shelter, right? But at least own property where you can rent it out to other people.
Right.
You can rent where you live and then own a property where you rent out to other people, right? But either way, we need some real estate. Right. Everyone say, look at your neighbor and say, get some real estate.
Get some real
Right.
estate. Right now.
Next thing, write this down. Cash flow.
Yeah.
Enough cash flow. Enough cash flow. What do I mean by that? You need enough cash flow to cover your monthly expenses, right? Your monthly overhead. I'm not talking about liabilities. I'm just talking about expenses, right? You have active cash flow. That's from you getting out there working as an E or S person, right? Then you have passive cash flow because you're an investor. You have some assets you own, right? Or you have a network you built, right? So get enough active cash flow and then invest or work to build a network to create enough passive cash flow. But we need to make sure we secure cash flow. We have to develop the art of being able to generate cash flow. There's different ways to do it. You have to do whatever your gift is calling you to do, right? But it has to get done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, next thing, insurance. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
All right, that's a way to buy your wealth, pass it down. Make sure your family's protected, buy your wealth, pass it down. The wealthier, I've been using insurance policies for years. And let me talk more specific, trust and wills, right? We talk about wills and trusts, and you talk about probate. Yeah. How many are familiar with the Rockefellers? All right, well, the Rockefellers, they set everything up in trust, and they pass it down to multi-generations. At the turn of the last century, the Vanderbilts and Rockefellers were pretty much neck and neck. Now, the Vanderbilts only have one wealthy, descendant, which is Anderson Cooper, and that's because he's on CNN, or was on CNN, not because of the wealth that was passed down, but the Rockefellers have a couple hundred people that are wealthy because of the power of trust, right? And making sure they have the right policies set up, right? Next. Tax strategy. So we just heard from an expert. We have more here. We have to learn how to use tax strategies to our advantage, right? Of course, commodities like gold and silver, if you're into it, guns and, just knowing different skills, sales skills, people skills, knowing how to deal with people, right? Legal, having access to attorneys, right? Does that make sense? All right, one more I'm gonna give y'all. All right, you ready for it? Starts with a C. Credit. All right, credit. All right, credit is your ability to pay bills on time, over time. Credit is your ability to pay bills
On time.
Overtime.
On time.
Overtime.
On time.
Overtime.
On time.
Overtime.
Credit is your ability to pay bills on time, over time. All right? You want to get the highest credit rating possible. All right? So we write down the word rating. All right? Credit is your ability to be able to get financing and bank. The bank actually print money for you. But basically, you want to get the highest credit rating possible. The banks use the rating. The rating tells them what bad stuff you have on your profile and what good stuff you have, right? A score can be misleading. There's a number of different ways that scores are calculated, but you want to have the highest rating. You want to shoot for the rating. Highest rating you can get, write this word down, excellent. How many of y'all are excellent today? All right? All right? We're all excellent people, right? Okay? But how many of us know someone who may have less than excellent credit? You know them. Like, not you, but you know them. Like your friend, right? You ask for a friend, right? You might look at them in the mirror the first thing, right? Right? So here's the thing. An excellent typically means you have a 750 or higher, or it's on the way. Okay? It'll get you the best rates on everything. People say, well, I pay everything cash. He was talking about, cash is king. Then he was like, credit is king. No, cash is credit.
Right.
If you look on the dollar bill, it says Federal Reserve. No, it's credit. This whole system is a game of credit. You either learn the rules of the game or you get played by the game.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right? Cash is credit. All right? So you want to push for an excellent rating. If you don't have an excellent rating, you lose over $250,000 to $1 million over your lifetime. You're losing that renting, paying the landlord's mortgage off so they can pass down a legacy to their kids. You're paying more for car insurance, whether you can drive good or not. Right? You're paying unnecessary deposits when you set up utilities. You're paying higher interest rates on financing for a vehicle if you need that, or a house if you can even get approved. You're getting turned down for jobs and promotions because they run your credit and employers down. Opportunity costs are lost. Right? Certain careers, right? So you got to get to an excellent ASAP. I don't care if it takes a year. Knock it out now so you spend the next 50 with excellent credit and getting good rates. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here's how you do that. Two main things. Take off the bad stuff, put on enough of the good stuff the right way. Take off the bad stuff, put on enough of the good stuff the right way. And when you do that, it'll allow you to get the bank to help you buy assets, to put more money in your pocket, to create more time freedom, so you can have the lifestyle that you choose to live. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Y'all see why I took y'all through all that?
Yeah.
All right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right? So let me give you some numbers specifically. Write this down. 0 negatives. 0 negatives and 5+ active credit accounts. 0 negatives and 5+ active credit accounts. Now we heard the Pythagorean theorem in school, right? Have y'all ever heard that?
No, never.
In school? No. I went to Manual. Oh, Manual's so great. I ain't never heard that, right? I said that with bad English. My grandmother's an English professor, right? But that's how I feel about that. I ain't never heard 0 negatives and 5 plus active credit accounts when I was a senior. I'm giving it to you now. It'll say that's $250,000 to $1 million worth of gain right there, right? You want to make sure you have nothing negative on your credit profile. No late payments, no collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcies. Nothing that would stop you, that would discourage a bank from giving you a couple $100,000 line of credit for business funding or to buy a house. You don't want to discourage them, okay? Now, credit can be rebuilt, repaired, restored, okay? You can dispute negative items under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, even if you owe a debt that are inaccurate, obsolete, or unverifiable. And then the burden to prove everything under several dozen guidelines is on your creditors and the credit bureaus. If they can't prove it under those guidelines, right, by law, it has to be removed, or they can be sued. And that lawsuit money, the litigation compensation, goes to you. Right? We have a program that helps with that, okay?
Yeah.
Or you can do it yourself, I don't care. I want y'all to, I just want more people free and living the lifestyle they want. All right? But 0 negatives, okay? But also, people say credit repair. It's not just taking off the bad stuff. You got to have enough of the good stuff set up the right way. All right? You want to have 5 or more active credit accounts. All right? 5 or more. Banks consider that a thick profile. See, they need to see that you can handle credit. They need to see you can handle more than 1 account. Magic number is 5.
Right.
For a house, typically folks want to see you with 3. And, you know, most lenders. But I'm not teaching y'all the minimum. You can get a house for like a 620. Some programs 580, 550. But you're going to have more strict guidelines and a higher interest rate, or be in a house in a neighborhood you don't want to live in, maybe. So push for the excellent. Get your foot in the door if you can get there and get a house along the way, but keep going to excellent. So you can refi and get a better interest rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here's how those 5 accounts need to be set up. Write this down. At least 1 active credit card and at least 1 active loan. At least 1 active credit card, at least 1 active loan. At least 1 active credit card, at least 1 active loan. That's your credit mix. That's 10% of your points. Jot this down. Below 7% on your credit cards. Below 7% on your credit cards. That's the second biggest thing that impacts your credit. That's 30% of your points. Banks want to see that you have a card and that you use it the right way. I would just pay it off and avoid the interest. But if you don't pay the whole thing off, make sure it's less than 7% of your limit. Next thing. Jot this down. Average age, 5 years or more. Average age, 5 years or more. Average age, 5 years or more. Okay? The longer you've had accounts open, the better you look. This is the third biggest thing that impacts your score. 15% of your points. For a house, most banks want to see at least a year. Some go as low as 6 months. But to max out this section of your score, get to 5 years. Most of that's going to come from credit cards. So you'll have 5 credit cards. Do I just go shopping all it? No. Use your credit cards to pay your normal expenses. Right. Pay your cell phone. Pay your gas with the second card. Buy your groceries with the third card. Right? Does that make sense? Pay a different bill with your 4th card. And then eventually your score will go up and you'll get good cards and get free stuff from the points that you triggered just paying your normal bills. That's what wealthy people do to get free vacations. Last thing, no more than 3 credit inquiries. No more than 3 credit inquiries. If you have more than 3, or inquiries, depending on which side of town you come from. Inquiries, inquiries, hard inquiries. No more than 3 or to make you look desperate. That's 10% of your score. The biggest thing are the negatives. The biggest thing are the negatives, that's 35%. So here's what I'm going to do as I'm wrapping up. All right, I'm going to give a free consultation to break down your specific profile. If you text wisdom and your name to, write this number down, 502-356-8708. Again, that's 502-356-8708. If you text wisdom and your name to that number, I'm going to give you a free consultation. Yes, I have a program to help with your credit. I'm actually in the process of being able to help people with loan origination as well here in a few weeks. I just want to see people win. I want to break down your profile so I can tell you exactly what you need to do, what type of accounts you need to have. Does that make sense? All right. I appreciate you guys for having me this afternoon. Hopefully that helped. If it helped, awesome. If not, I'm sorry. I'll demand you. But I love you guys, and I'm looking forward to see y'all win. Thank you guys.